Hi, this is Lavonna from Silver Lining Psychotherapy. Today I want to talk about a topic that hits home for me, and it is mom anxiety. Mom anxiety is something that I know that not only I suffer from, but many of my friends, many of my clients, and many women around the world suffer from it. And mom anxiety is kind of tricky because as a mom, you know that your job is to worry about your kids and it's to take care of them and to, make sure everything's okay. And part of doing that is worrying about them. Worrying is what prompts you to take actions to prevent something bad from happening. But anyone who suffered from anxiety before kids or even after they've had kids know that anxiety is worry, gone amok. Anxiety is an uncontrollable worry that you just can't seem to get a handle over. So, what happens when you have mom anxiety? There's so many things to be worried about. You're worried about your kids' health. You're worried about their learning, their education. You worry if they have friends. You worry about their behavior. And all these things are attempts to figure out how to help them with the problems that they're having. Part of the problem is that today we're inundated with information about so many problems. There are so many things we can worry about related to our kids. We hear about tragic accidents that happen or freak illnesses that occur, and these are on top of the normal things that could possibly go wrong on a daily basis, when we're parenting our kids. So what can we do about this? We can't, hole ourselves up and lock our family up in a cave as much as we would like to. We can't prevent our kids from ever experiencing any pain. So how can we cope with our own feelings of anxiety when it comes to raising our kids and being a mom? One thing that's important to do, the first thing that's important to do is to make sure that you are supported and that you get validation. And the best way to do that is just by talking with other moms. You're not the only one who feels this way. I can guarantee whatever your strangest worry is about your child, there are other moms out there who can relate. So seeking out friends who are open, who are supportive and not judgmental, and having them share their experiences with you is a really good way to help reduce your anxiety so that you don't feel all alone, and it kind of normalizes whatever thoughts that you're having. Another thing you can do is try to filter the exposure you're having to things that are freaking you out. In other words, when you go on Facebook and you see all these stories about people who have kids who have illnesses or, various things that are going on in the world that could possibly affect your child, and it causes anxiety, it may be a good idea to limit your time on Facebook. And I know that's difficult. I know I have a hard time with that because there's so many fun things that go on Facebook too. But if it's a source of anxiety for you, it may be smart to filter out some of those experiences you have, maybe even watching the news or reading the paper. Because reading about freak accidents won't help a freak accident and won't prevent that from happening in your life. So another thing that's important to do is to challenge your anxiety. So if you have something in particular that you're anxious about and you just can't seem to get your mind off of it, look it up, research it, find ways to challenge that anxiety. Is this something that's very common? Is the thing you're worrying about likely to happen? And even though something can happen, the fact that it's unlikely to happen is a good way to help you challenge that belief. Just because a thought pops in your head doesn't mean that you have to believe that it's going to happen. And so to help you gain a feeling of control over the thing that you're worried about is another way to do that is to help make a plan of action. So if you're worried about, somebody falling and breaking their leg, making a plan of where you would go to the hospital, teaching your kids to call 911, making a safety plan for where to meet if you have to leave the house. Those kinds of things are smart for anyone to do, not just people with anxiety, but having a plan of action in place can help you feel like you have a little bit more control if an emergency comes up, that there won't be as much confusion because you'll have worked out the details ahead of time. This is kind of a silly way to cope with anxiety, but it actually does work, and that is to schedule your worry. So if you're worrying from the minute you wake up until the minute you go to sleep, your worries spread throughout the day. What if you scheduled your worry? What if you said, I'm going to worry from 10 a.m. until 10:30, and after that, I'm really going to try not to worry. So when the thoughts pop in your mind, when the anxiety starts to come, you can tell yourself, I'm going to think about that during my worry time, and I'm not going to think about it now. At the beginning, you may need to schedule 4 or 5 worry times throughout the day, but you can condition yourself to set aside time to think about things that worry you, and so you can live the rest of your life and not be consumed with it all day. Of course, self-care is so important, and that's something as moms, a lot of us really forget to do. You know, there's the basic things that we need to do to take care of ourselves, which is, you know, exercise and eat healthy and get fresh air and, have time to ourselves. But things that kind of feed your soul and make you feel happy, find hobbies that you maybe used to like to do and you don't do anymore. Engaging in things that make you feel happy can provide relaxation that can last you, and it can give your mind a break when you're engaging in something that is taking care of yourself. And along with that is spirituality. Spirituality doesn't mean religion. It doesn't mean God. It means something that you can believe in. So, sometimes having anxiety feels like you can control everything. Like if you take every single precaution, somehow you're going to prevent something bad from happening. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So having a belief in something outside of yourself can help you cope with the anxiety that comes your way, and believing that there's something out there bigger than you that's kind of making things happen, and that you can't control things from happening. So that is my spiel, and I am going to try to follow my own advice. As a therapist, I know the answers for other people, but a lot of times I don't think to do it for myself. So today I'm going to follow my own advice. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to read a book that I just downloaded on my Kindle, and I'm going to try to have some fun. So have a great day. Bye.